We live.
I press play on the button. Oh, we already did.
Taking my baby to school, then I pray
Yay,
for her, cause you
yay.
bitches ain't never been
Yo,
cool.
peace to the
Biting twisting me,
people.
painting pictures, put
Let
me
that
on
K
the
dot
road,
come
that's a
in real
definite.
quick.
Universal shift, I'm in the cool. A celebrity do not mean integrity,
You fool.
I'm a good man, shake your hand.
I'm a good man. Yo, man, we back. Another episode live from the den.
Let's go.
And we back in full effect tonight, man. I feel real good on this episode because we back and we got Mr. D Green, Devontae Green back in the building. How you feeling, brother?
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be back. Work has taken me away, but I was very happy to be able to do what I was doing. I teach a class on entrepreneurship to men who are currently transitioning back home, and they are in a transitional facility from prison, so they're still in custody. But I go twice a week to teach entrepreneurship and self-development. And when so Mondays I just wasn't able to make it. I'm happy we're here Wednesdays. I've been listening to the show. Definitely a fan. It's different listening, you know what I mean, opposed to being on it. I'm a fan, man. Thank you for holding it down. I love the guests that have been on here. Yeah, man, I'm a fan of the show, so it's dope that I wasn't here.
No, absolutely, bro. And it's always another dynamic. It's like, to me, I use a lot of sports analogies. Like, you hold it down long enough till your other superstar come back. You know what I'm saying? So you got that 1-2 punch. It's amazing. But man, it's dope that you was able to have that perspective and listen it in while you was handling the business and hold it down. And tonight, bro, we got a special guest coming into the studio. They'll be arriving mid show, which is kind of cool. You know, they probably listening on their way here, and they'll come in and we'll give y'all that live experience. But we'll be talking about several different things. And like you already know on Live from the Den, we like to talk about real subjects, real situations and scenarios, and also give some key modalities to help, drive you back into growth and being successful.
And I wanted to share, man, just as a reminder of why we even have this show and this platform, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Not just to hear ourselves talk and not to be popular and not to, those things are cool. I like hearing myself talk, and people knowing you is not a bad thing, but it's really be able to provide value, whether it be value in our perspective, valuable in the resources that we share. Sorry, y'all. Or when we bring guests on, they're bringing value. So we are intentional about our topics. And we're hoping that our listeners, thank y'all for listening. If y'all in the chat, make sure y'all communicate with us in the chat, please. But that's what the show is about. It's about bringing value to you from our own perspectives and experiences, or those of our guests. So I'm excited to see. We got a great topic today.
Yes, indeed.
And then when y'all hear from our guests, y'all will see exactly what we mean. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm a little rusty, bro.
No, absolutely, bro. And your rusty is still, at an echelon and greatness though. So I appreciate that, your presence being back in here. So I'll just introduce the show topic. So the show topic today is Peace Coach, and our guest today is Marcus Cargill, who is a proud member of the Giants Den.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Live from the den.
Live from the den. Right. And so what I love about the men in the den, that we come with our own unique perspective. We come with our own unique experiences. And so we are able to leverage those, like Devontae was saying, for that growth, and talk from a point of view. And so he's going to talk a little bit about his journey in becoming a peace coach. Right. But what I want to ask you is thinking about just the word peace, or the idea of peace, as that simmers and marinates in, like, what do you conceptualize when you hear the word peace for yourself?
Oh man, that's and you know this as my friend, as my best friend, and I also would say the same for Keith. That's what I want in life. I'm not really searching for a certain amount of money or a certain title.
Right.
I'm searching for peace, right? And I know that's an internal search, and it's really about learn how to the inner management of oneself. You
Mhm.
know, so I'm a journey to, do the inner engineering, piece. And I would say too, everyone may have a different version of what would, not a different version, but a different need in
Yeah.
terms of what would bring them peace.
Mhm.
And for me, very important. When I say freedom, is not just like, oh, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I think the AC's on, huh?
I got you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it's not just about doing what I want to do when I want to do it. It's I have an internal conflict that happens within myself when I'm not able to make choices that I feel like are healthy for me in the way that I spend my time or the way that I spend my energy. And if I make oh, that might be for something else. Um, but yeah, so that's really important to me, being able to find or just align myself to be free enough
Right.
to make my own decisions and choices and not have to give my energy or time to things that will not add peace.
And that's freaking important. I mean, to be honest, because on your journey and on your I guess search to even we could try to figure it out too. You know what I'm saying? We got some not even technical difficulties. We got some stuff running in the background. We want to make sure that y'all are hearing us fluidly. We want to make sure that y'all are getting this show, you know, with everything that just fully receiving it. And we figured out the plan. You know what I'm saying? That's called teamwork right there. We figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you watching, you know what I'm saying, you see us figuring this thing out. But we're talking about peace right now and the idea of what that means, right? Um, and Devontae was just gaming us up, or not even, he was just giving his perspective
Yeah, that's just,
on peace. And I use I use the phrase gaming up, because I think anybody talking about their own personal perspective and journey, I think that's just some game that you can take, you can pick up, or you keep it right there. It's up to you. And so my idea, honestly, is the same thing. It's like having that freedom or that autonomy to be able to maneuver how we need to, right? Um, and most people make that synonymous with like a job. I think that's the new wave right now where we just like, oh, so I ain't working for the man, or I ain't working like this. But if you can find peace and solace in what you're doing, that's okay. And for me, it's the ability to maneuver how I need to, in the most righteous and calming state, calming state that I need to operate in. And I know, that may be like, man, what you trying to do? Like entrepreneurship or this and that. No, it's just really, if I have my day, right? I stack my day up. I know what my day looks like. For me, peace is preparation.
Mm.
I know what's ahead of me. So therefore, if these are the things that I lined up, right? I'm not unexpected. So when I'm most at my most like docile state, or a place of where I'm disgruntled and I don't feel peaceful, is because I'm not prepared. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like something jumping out at me, or if I got something hanging over my head, if I had an assignment, like recently for work, I was procrastinating a little bit and I let the work stack up on me, but I realized I wasn't at peace because I was irritated with myself. But I was like, I gotta have this conversation. Let me go ahead and have this conversation because I'm making myself angry. I ain't at no peace. Let me get some clarity.
Yeah.
Let me get some understanding. But once I was able to do that, I was able to then direct myself and my energy back to a peaceful place that helps me magnify everything else. And so, man, that do you find it hard or struggle to find peace in different areas?
Nah, man. So this is I've been away for a while. So coming back, I definitely want to be as authentic and vulnerable and not raw in a disrespectful way. But I don't want to hold back like what I truly think about things. And peace is not for the weak.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like having peace in your life, you got to be a warrior. You got to be about it, as they would say.
About it.
Peace just don't come from sitting in the space and just like yes, yes, no, no. Like you got to make some tough decisions to protect your peace. A part of peace is boundaries.
Wow.
And to not have boundaries is I feel like you don't necessarily, you will be less likely to know peace. So no, I feel like it's not easy. Hell no.
Mm.
It's not easy to tell people no. It's not easy to not show up to things you've been invited to. It's not easy to not work with certain folks. It's not easy to take the road less traveled, right? There's less, and most people are not at peace in their lives.
They just kind of, and let me not generalize. People go with the motion, and they may have a what I may deem is like a false idea of what peace may look like and feel like. You know, I'm kind of going with emotions. Like you said, you run into a situation where you have to challenge yourself in a way, but when you overcome that, you circumvent that thing and you face it. Similar to the basic analogy I just gave, I wasn't about to let this energy hang over me. You know what I'm saying? Knowing I got, I had some stuff to do, and I'm like, well, this is what it is. Now you take ownership, right? You take ownership of what it is, but then you follow along and you stick to those boundaries and those values and those morals that you built for yourself to maintain that peace of mind.
If I may, it's not a challenge to what you're saying, but I guess it's my perspective on it is,
yes, sir.
It's not. I don't believe that peace is something that you're in charge of making. Peace is what you are. That's who you are in your natural state. So it's really about getting all the BS from around and off of you.
Okay.
So you can be at peace. It's not like I'm at peace because I created these boundaries. You at peace when you're most aligned to your spirit, your soul, and who God intended you to be. I don't care who you are. That's what peace. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody got different baggage. Right. Let's say somebody's in a relationship that they will call toxic. You're in a toxic relationship, but you could be like, man, this person's getting on my nerves. This person's getting on my nerves. This woman, this man, whoever's getting on my nerves. I don't like going in the house. I hear about guys sitting in a car before they go in the house because they don't want to deal with, the energy that they about to get in there from their partners, or, people going through their phones, stuff like that.
Right.
But they're also too scared to either have a conversation or to set a boundary and stick to it. So I think that, the warrior part comes in like being able to pain yourself temporarily for the long-term benefit of peace. I don't want to, because we got this together.
I don't want to disrupt this. I don't know what this may look like. And that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. That's a great perspective. And so I'm glad that you gave your perspective and it offered a bit of a challenge or just a new view of how to look at that. Right. Because you talk about being I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys that didn't know how to, I guess, in a situation, I didn't have the right skill set to have a conversation that'll move me or move the needle into. And real quick, I want to take a pause, man, while we adjust real quick. We have Marcus Cargill that just stepped in to the space into the building and joining this episode tonight. And while he gets situated, I'll continue along on this conversation of peace, and sharing our perspectives with it. And so Devontae mentioned, like, you're not in control of your peace, right? But before I found like the different.
Well, if I may,
okay,
you're not in control of what make. We got the coach in the building.
Please,
you know what I mean. So please, But it's not that you're not in control. You are in control of setting boundaries and making decisions, but you're not in control of your personality type and what you need to be at peace. Like I really, not only do I value freedom, my design, like I have to I have to free myself from anything that attaches me or requires me to shift my energy to something that's not tied to my purpose. Somebody else may not feel that way. You know what I mean? That may not kill somebody internally. But for me, it's a decision that's not just one of the mind, but one of, I feel like, my soul. So I think that each of our souls requires different things to bring it to that peaceful state. That's what I meant.
Break it down for me there, brother. That I mean, that in that perspective, it comes with time. It comes with intellectual gain. Like that was, I appreciate you breaking it down like that. And so what I want to do is right now turn my attention and my acknowledgement to our guests for the night. like I said, man, member of the Giants Den, um, long-standing, one of the great personal trainers that we have, a peace coach, an entrepreneur, just a stand-up guy and a gentleman. Yeah, he was a person that motivated me on consistency. Every Saturday he shows up. He'll tell you more about what he does, and he has Suit Saturday, which I really loved, and I'm getting into myself. A bona fide gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Cargill.
Wow. Again, I sincerely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Wow. I'm feeling honored. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm most grateful. Am I facing the right angle?
Oh, yeah, you good.
Look
Look
at
at
good.
good.
We
Right
knew
there.
where
Arms
you was
looking
sitting at
good.
before you got
All
here.
right, I see I got my thighs out today, so I'm feeling
You
real
worked on those?
confident. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Big. Leg day a little bit. So,
Billy.
yeah, man. Thank y'all so much for having me on. So,
Thanks for being here, brother.
where would you like me to start? We want to break down the piece components. Also, let me throw a little something in there. The Suit Saturday I actually got from Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
So rest in peace,
Rest in
Kevin
peace.
Samuels.
So you
I
was on
know,
Kevin before we even
yeah,
before I heard about it.
before his big blow up from some things. I know it can be a polarizing topic to bring up the name, but for me personally, it was helpful in a lot of ways, and that's where I got that Suit Saturday concept from.
Okay.
More so, just being mindful of your image. And before he started talking about the lady, I'll be quick. Before he got on to talking about a lot of the women and relationships and things, he was talking about men, and that's how I learned about him.
Right.
And he got on the men just as hard, and then so much so, but it inspired me. I was embracing that, challenge of hearing that type of feedback because I needed that structure at that point in my life. And he's putting people on game. If you listen to it and you can move past that discomfort, like, ooh, I felt that. But if you can move past that, I think more often than not, a lot of people will find some of those pieces healthy. And I'm not saying that that particular messenger is for everybody, but I hope that for those that it resonated with, if you get the message out of it, I think it'll help you, which then you can go and leverage that help that you got and then go help somebody else. So for me personally, it's been helpful.
Yeah.
However, that being said, Sue Saturday concept came from him. And then when I put together the 7 components of peace, one of those pieces is fashion. And it sort of ties into the Suit Saturday. And then we'll kind of break all that down, I suppose, in a more appropriate time.
Yeah.
But a quick story about that is I was looking for some structure, some game, and this was a nice tie-in that I don't think I've shared with y'all before. But I was looking for some structure in my life at that point. Things were looking a little bit hazy. It wasn't really clear. I knew I needed a challenge. So, from watching a lot of his videos, I started to get coaching from him. So I was working with him for a while. He was my life coach for a minute. And we did, I would say.
Well, I will say, bro, sorry to cut you off. Sorry for your loss.
Right.
I think that's really important, regardless of what that was somebody who you worked with that way.
Right.
And that's a soul that impacted your life. Sorry for the loss, brother.
For sure. Appreciate that. Thank you. And so moving forward, he was able to help me out in a lot of ways in terms of giving me more clarity. And it's funny because a lot of the people that I know are not fans of him, ladies in particular. A lot of the things that I learned from working with him in our interactions, they're much healthier. So even though they may not recognize it in that moment, indirectly, they are still being impacted. And for the most part, it's been positive.
Yeah.
So I recognize that there will always be feedback on both sides. That's okay. It's supposed to be like that.
Absolutely.
Not everybody's supposed to like you. And that's okay.
And
You
that's
got to be
okay,
okay
yeah.
with that.
Absolutely.
That's a part of that whole peace process too.
Yeah.
So being okay that not everybody gonna rock with you like that. Not taking it personal.
We talked a little bit about boundaries and how that's a part. I would imagine, for me, that's a huge part of boundaries. But not everybody liking you can come also from setting boundaries or not being okay with you setting boundaries. In a sense, you could possibly lose people. Have you experienced any of that with boundary setting specifically?
Yeah, as far as boundaries, setting them or recognizing that I needed to set them, it changed the dynamics of some relationships. For the most part, I'd like to believe that I'm pretty cool and I'm able to get along with most people. But definitely I've had moments where, you know, the relationship dynamic has changed a little bit, or we may not talk as much, or we may talk more. And that's okay. I kind of look at it also from a big picture of a season, kind of like the ebb and flow of an ocean wave. You know, sometime y'all gonna rock a lot, sometime y'all gonna fall back some. You know, even you can even with your closest homies, you can have those times where y'all chopping it up every day for a spell, and then there goes a season where
Oh yeah,
we
we,
can tell you about that one.
that's funny. We just
Yeah.
mentioned that, you
oh,
know, in
okay,
a
there you
sense
go.
too. Yeah, for sure. We're gonna dive into it. You had you want to talk about that real quick?
No, yeah, I
Or
was just
yeah.
just we can relate, you know.
Right.
And when it's when you say the closest people, like it's also understanding. I always say like I'm a low maintenance friend for the most, or at least I try to be low maintenance. I let my friends respond to that, but like because I'm also not able to high maintenance relation. Like if you need me to talk to you every day, we need to if our relationship is on the table every time a week goes by, or I didn't post you on a birthday, or I can't exist in that relationship because that's not my personality.
Right.
Or that's not the part of my personality I'm trying to invest in, giving more time. Like we should be cool. We're if we're good, we're good. And sometimes me, Danny, and Keith, we talk every day. Shit, me and Danny talk about 3 times a day.
Right.
You know, but then there might be a time where it might be a week,
Uh-huh.
2 weeks, and then over the 15 years or 16 years of our friendship, it might be, you know, a whole like, you know, a little
like a nice,
yeah,
nice
like a
period
nice
of
little
a chunk
spell.
of time. And I
Right.
think we're also able in that space to recognize that that you may just need space, right? But then you also can check in and like everything good,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
just
and
checking
with
in
that,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. And so we talk about and then we're in that space too, we're learning how to establish boundaries, right?
Sure.
These are new um and I'm speaking personally. These are all new things. Like I thought I was a low maintenance friend, right? And I had to put in my own analogy on it, right? So it's like, no, you just kind of waiting really late to get your oil change. Like everybody need an oil change. People get it when they like cut right on.
Right.
You know, I was the type of person that was like, you know, I'm gonna wait a couple 100 miles over. You know, I was like, I ain't got it right now, and then I'll pour out everything. Like, well, you just kind of would have, you know, like divvied this up, and you will be able to recognize that you may need more of that friendship, that perspective, those things. And so I had to really recalibrate myself and find my pace and find what works well, you know, for the team and the group, and find my peace in a sense.
Yeah.
Because we all strive to have it.
Yeah.
We all or idea what you may think that is,
Right.
right? In that journey, you're still figuring out things. You have to recognize things. You have to, you know, go through certain things as a person and then open back up to be like, okay, I like this person that I've known to become.
Right. Right.
With the next, I know we got a commercial break coming up in about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But also we know Marcus. Well, what we know of Marcus is a member of the Giants Den. He has a whole fitness community he runs. He's also a peace coach. But our listeners right now, we appreciate y'all listening as well. For them, could you let them, what is a peace coach?
Right.
You know, what makes you a peace coach?
That's a great question. I think I kind of created that. At least I'd like to believe that it was something that was inspired within that that I just felt at the time would be important to start saying out loud and marketing more. I, I would shorten it to say, if you put a personal trainer and a life coach together, you'll get a peace coach. And it kind of was birthed as a result of I would often work with a lot of clients for that hour. We're training, right?
Right,
We're
right.
familiar with that. But over the course of that hour, and as I'm continuing to build rapport with a lot of clients, and I get to understand why they're even there for me for that hour to train, I recognize that there's a lot of other stuff going on the outside of their life. And I would refer to that in conversation as the other 23. The other 23 is the other 23 hours you're spending not training. And if we can work on tightening those spaces up, those hours up, and making those more fruitful, you'll get more out of that 1 hour and you'll enjoy the other 23 hours leading up to that. So now you got your whole day just running on a tighter ship overall. That's where the peace thing came from. And then if you can get all that running better, you'll be more at peace. And then so I started to ask myself, well, what are typically the components of that? And then same thing, we're working with a lot of clients. They were able to get a lot more peace in their life. Not only were they getting results from the training aspect, but a lot of times they would end up making more money, having more community around them. You know what I mean? Going to therapy, which I'm a big advocate of, and I tell pretty much all my clients to do it. And just a lot of different things like that. They would just continue to improve in various ways, add into their networking group. Again, going back to the KS point, that's the reason why I joined the Giants Den.
Wow.
He told me to get into a professional networking group.
Wow.
And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I need that. And what is it that I want? I want to be around professional Black men. I think a week later I found y'all, and that's when y'all saw me at that. I want to say it was a brunch or a dinner or something like that in Culver City.
Yeah.
Right.
So all of that came off the heels of that. But anyway,
wow, that's
so
huge.
just a quick note.
That's a journey.
That's huge.
So to add again to another connection that indirectly was affected. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but going back to that, just how to add more peace. And from there, I recognize that there's generally 7, and I'll say sometimes 8, depending on the circumstances. But most of the time, I say there's 7 F's to peace. And then I keep it at that. As far as,
and we're gonna give y'all,
we're gonna give y'all the 7. That's
I see it. Yeah,
see how I kind of paused because I was like, might drop.
Hold on to the 7.
Yeah. So yeah, get your notepads out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, take some notes for today. I'm talking to you, right? I'm looking at you right in your eyes. I'm pointing at you. All right. So just be ready. Take some notes.
Absolutely be ready. And as we gear up and prepare for this commercial break, I want to like pause and like I got a quick story on how I met you before like we even were integrated into the Giants Den space. And it was at the Utende Price Center and Soko Ray, who you were connected with, right? It was like so a dope
man, that didn't
dope
even
therapist. And I just happened to just pull up because I thought it was like free resource center. And I was at a time in my life where I was trying to do more. And my lady was like, you got this going on? I'm like, cool. And so you led just information on just becoming a better fitness person. And at the time, I remember you saying you had a life coach, and that happened to be Kevin Samuels. But that's amazing.
Yeah.
How things are connected in such a way.
Yeah.
And
on our journey,
a great person.
It's amazing.
Hey, I sincerely appreciate
amazing.
it. I'm doing my best, So thank you for that.
So no, we look forward to getting into those
7 or 8. 7 or 8.
Yeah, let's say 7.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Okay. Yeah, make sure when we come back, man, y'all have y'all pens ready. Like I said at the beginning of the call, we want to provide value. And the guests that we bring on here are really designed to provide value for you. It's not just to hear us talk, but y'all will catch y'all in 3 minutes. Love. Like I said at the beginning of the call, we want to provide value. And the guests that we bring on here are really designed.
Everyone, it's your girl Jules from the Primos Chidos. Did you know that recent studies have proven that the Primos Chidos radio increases life expectancy loss of weight? So make sure to catch us every Thursday at 12 p.m. on the TGN Latinx station.
Sundays just got sweeter. The Hub Radio presents First Sundays Open Mic, hosted by Hub City Dre, DJ Gamma Ray, and the First Sundays Band. They're inviting all singers, rappers, comedians, and poets to show up and show out. Signups begin at 6 p.m. Sundays Open Mic will take place every first Sunday of the month. It's just $10 before 8 p.m. and $20 after, so arrive early. The address is 1135 East Compton Boulevard. That's 1135 East Compton Boulevard in Compton, California. For more information, follow them on IG at First Sundays Open Mic.
Hey besties, it's Chanel from Brunch with Besties podcast. Join me and my bestie, Sherry Renee, each and every Monday on TGN Talk at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where healing meets purpose.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming.
The Podcast Pit is coming. Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming. The Podcast
Pit is coming.
You're seriously watching porn by yourself? Oh, wait, that's the wrong script. Oh, that's right. I'm here to talk about the Primos Chidos radio show, live every Thursday at 12 from the TGN Latinx station. Make sure you tune in for some laughs, maybe some crying, and definitely some stupid takes. I'll see you guys there.
It's back, Jax. Have you heard? It's back.
Michael, what are you talking about? What's back?
The podcast pit. It is returning Monday, May 23rd. Brand new venue.
Oh my God, the podcast pit is back. Exciting. Where's it at?
It's going to be at Jax's Daily at 7:30 p.m.
I know where that's at. That's at 11168 Washington Boulevard in Culver City.
So, Jax, will I see you there?
Oh, you know it, baby.
And we back live from the den tonight. And we got our technical difficulties fixed and curated the right way, man. So we just wanted for y'all to have the best sound quality, the best time while y'all listening to the show. And currently we have Marcus Cargill in the building. We're talking about peace and what is a peace coach, but just the idea of the journey to peace. What does that mean? We have 3 different men in here with 3 different perspectives. So the conversation is awesome. We wanted to hear more from Marcus, but before we went on break, I was sharing the story of running into Marcus on my own personal peace journey. So it was a Utende Price Center where it was a meditation. It was a journaling. It was a therapist who I think is dope, Soko Ray.
Shout out to Soko and Soko Ray Therapy, Inglewood, California.
Yes, indeed. Shout out. And I was on my journey like, man, what's therapy? I still had this preconceived notion of like all of these different things, but I was trying to remove the stigmas in my own personal life. But I seen Marcus there, and I'm like, man, this is a grown man right here. You feel me? And I had questions for him about fitness. At that time, I wasn't I wasn't NASM certified. I had no idea or none of that. And it was just more so like my own personal journey. And I ran into Marcus. Energy was always infectious. And so for you to be on your own journey at that point, knowing where I was, and we're here today. You know, shout out to all the energies that conspires to make this happen or so something like this happen. I mean, that's absolutely dope. So I love that. I'm curious to and I know we both are to hearing maybe one or two of these 7 principles.
We get all 7 if we got the time.
No, we're gonna get all 7.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna break them down and try to dissect them in the best way we can if possible. No, so if you want to start with 3, let's do it.
I'm gonna go through all 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna break down the titles of each one first.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll go through each one at a time. So the 7 F's of peace: faith, family, friends, fitness, finance, fashion, and food.
Wow.
So starting off with faith, a lot of people claim that they have, and let me not say claim, but a lot of people have faith in God, Allah, the Most High, the universe, source, whatever, the creator, whatever people may refer to that higher power as. That's wonderful that you have belief in that higher power, but I think a lot of times people don't consider or recognize the connectedness that they have to that higher power, to God. So a lot of times the faith is more so for you. You may have faith in God, but do you really have faith in you the same way that you have faith in God? Does that energy match? Is that energy going towards God the same as like within yourself? You know what I mean? Like if you believe God and, or, a classic Bible verse that I personally like and resonates with me, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Right.
So if you truly believe that, I think the faith that you have in yourself is going to be incredible. You know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind. So when it comes to faith, the faith is more so for yourself. It's to do a check-in. Like, how much do you really believe in yourself that you can go on and do great things and do better and improve and go through some challenging times and come out on top? You know what I'm saying? So that faith is for you. You need to start having more recognition of your own power. So that's the faith component.
Okay.
When it comes to family is that's the space where you manage relationships. You're born into the family you're born in. It is what it is. So you manage those relationships. There's going to be some relationships where you are managing with the boundaries, like we mentioned, and different things like that. So it's kind of getting an idea of, okay, well, this is where this is at. I can improve this. This may be, you may have to detach with love, and you may have to attach with love. You may have to do a little bit of both, depending on the circumstances. That's where it is with family. Learning to take things less personally, because a lot of times people may see you as that little baby, you know.
Talk to him.
Little mook mook or whatever, you know.
I still get called spank around the house.
Right, you know. So that when they may be looking at you through those eyes from that emotion standpoint, not recognizing that a whole 30 plus years have gone by. Right. Yeah. Several decades have now passed. So I move a little different now, you know. I'm out my diapers now, you know, but still. So a lot of times you're managing the relationships. When it comes to friends, it's a little bit different. That's your chance to build relationships. That's where we go with the networking, or you're building a lot of the relationships from the different places you spend time at. Growing up, we spend a lot of time in preschool, going to school. You might go to some dances at the school. You go to the sports, the football games, track meets, whatever the case may be. So you're acquiring friends. You know, you go into the house functions and things like that. You're getting friends every time you do that. You know what I mean? That's your chance, though, to put a little bit more of your spin on it. You get to show up the way you want to show up. And that's where they know you from. They don't know you from that time when you was, you know, pooping in your diaper or something like that. You know?
Right.
So you have more control over the tone that you set with the friends. Fitness. Now, of course, I had to put the fitness in there because that's where a lot of this stems from. You know, fitness is more so, I would say for the most part, yes, it's paying attention to your physical health, because that's a domain that doesn't seem to get as much respect as the mental and spiritual domains of a person, but it's still just as important. It's still a temple that's housing your mind, your mental, that's still housing your spirit, your soul. So you still need to be mindful of that. If it's operating at its best, it's only going to help to improve those other areas. Wow. And studies show that they help to improve those other areas. Your mindset, your soul, your spirit. And you'll feel it too. You start moving a little bit more, you start being more active, you start to feel it. So there's a lot of benefit to that. All right. I know I'm always inspired when I see y'all and your workout videos.
And likewise, bro. I mean, it's seeping through the airwaves right now. That we're live here. And if I may pause you there, so we covered faith, family, friends, and fitness, right? And so what I would love to introduce and pose to all of us, we all have some unique perspectives. Y'all have great perspective from my point of view. How do those 4 F's that you name in these peace practices, how do they correlate? If they do correlate, or how do they overlap one another? So when you're talking about the faith, and you broke it down so eloquently, and that one struck home for me the first time. We also had opportunity to be introduced to these ideas at one of our 515 calls with the Giants Den, and I really enjoyed that one. But the faith component, because you can be faithful but not have faith, in my opinion. You know, in that idea of like, I'm faithful to this, but it's like, I how do I not have faith in myself, or like the believability in what I'm saying? And that right there, once I started to double down, it's just my own personal perspective, and I'll digress. When I started to double down and really believe and like really give it up in that way, all the other components, like I was able to open my mind to have better relationships with my family, right? I was able to curate and be confident enough to say like, hey, these are my boundaries, friends, but this is how I want to give time and space and love to y'all, right? And then the fitness, I turned up. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole personal experience with those particular F's. And I would ask each one of you as well, you know, how do those things transition, or like how do they overlap, or how do they even show up in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that question, because I've never thought to have an answer for that. So I'm gonna see if I can put an answer up in real time, and I'm gonna do it as honestly as I believe I can. But say, for example, if you've raised the faith in yourself and you have more faith in yourself, it becomes easier to make a lot of decisions that may be uncomfortable, you know, where there's some discomfort there. But when you have more faith in yourself, you recognize that discomfort, like in the gym, That's just a weight that you have to, you're going to struggle with, but you're going to move past, and you know that it's what's going to lead you to being stronger, So having that faith in self could be what's going to move you towards, okay, I need to manage these relationships with my family. Having that faith in yourself, and that's why I use faith specifically first. I ordered them in that reason on purpose, because I think subconsciously, I think that's the order of importance they should be in. Subject to change, but when you have your faith in self, I think that takes care of pretty much everything else. It becomes easier to set the tone in terms of setting those boundaries, detaching or attaching with love when it comes to family, when it comes to setting a tone in your relationships and networking, going up and having the confidence to say, hey, how you doing? My name is Marcus. It's a pleasure to meet you. This is what I do. I'd love to know what you do. I'd love to know more of your story. Having faith in yourself that you're going to be able to actively listen to what this person has to give to you, and you're going to be creative enough to take a moment to think about how you're going to add value to their life. So even when I'm in the Giants Den, I'm in the calls, every time we connect in my mind, I'm like, all right, I got to think of what's the way I can add value. How do I add more value? And it's interesting, but that's always where my mind goes. So even when it comes to this, I'm like, I gotta come through. This is another opportunity for me to be able to give, especially that you request or you ask. Of course, I'm there for sure.
100% appreciate it.
When it comes to the fitness, that's another way. Like, I believe that I can be better than where I'm at. I don't think that, varsity and high school has to be the end of the physical peak and everything like that. Where I know that's often the case for a lot of folks. It doesn't have to be, though. If you don't want it to be, you can improve. So many times when I'm working with people, I hear these words: I can't, it's too much, I'm too old now. I hate hearing those objections, and I'm trying to use my clean language and not turn up. You know what I mean?
I've been practicing too.
I've been
practicing too. Just for my own
feel
benefit.
free if you like, but
I am moving on the edge, but I'm trying, I'm gonna do my best. But just be mindful of your words, the words that you speak into yourself. You know what I mean? Words can really cut. You know what I'm saying? Words can go really deep. So you have to be very mindful. And when you speak to yourself, it needs to always be empowering. The world is already doing a masterful job at bringing you down in just about every way possible. So you don't need to be adding on to that. You don't need to be adding on to that. So just recognize that. So I think that's the way that they all can correlate. Having that faith, I think, is the best way to kind of look at how you can connect all of them. And obviously, if your family situation is better, you can connect that better with friends, because now you know how to set those boundaries and set the tone. When your friend situation is better, that also works, because now, should you decide to, I want to improve this relationship with family, or I want to bring them into more what I do with my friends. And now my family and friends all kind of become one community, which is often the case. A lot of times you'll have family that you can blend in with friends in those friend circles. Sometimes you might have various circles, but sometimes they'll blend together depending on who that person is. Same with friends. A lot of times we got cousins and uncles that's just the best friends of our parents, or real good homeboys.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You got
100%.
7 aunties, and one of them's by blood. So it's that same thing. They all tie in. When that love is there, it's gonna bleed in easily.
That's
and then,
fire.
So that's, I think, how you can relate to all of them.
Yeah. For myself, man, first off, I think I gotta go down here because my mic keep falling. Man. I'm a slack. Y'all see me? I'm slouching.
It's the cool guy.
Faith is honestly, faith is everything.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the exact version of faith that you so eloquently described. And I believe in myself if I ain't believing nothing else. And through that, and that's how I know God is real. Because God, God sounds like me to me. You know what I'm saying? It's not this weird, this other voice that comes in. It's literally there's a conditioned version of myself, and then there's the God that is just that I am. And then there's times where the conditioned version of myself's like, but what about this? And no, and and then God be like, shut your ass up, man. I got this. And because that has happened so many times, what you talking about? Oh, I don't want to tell them no. I don't want to go out there, and then God be like, hey, shut your ass up.
Exactly.
And I do it. You might so I say faith because courage. If you have faith within yourself, you will see a courageous person. So I believe through my experience of having to be courageous in the face of fear, Like I am mad uncomfortable with this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's never led me in the wrong position. It's never put me in a position where I haven't been so grateful. And now my faith is even higher. My belief level is at an all-time high. So I think faith is the catalyst for everything else. And I'm glad that that does come first. Fitness for me, you know.
Man, I be seeing them two.
Hey man,
shoulder
hold on
presses.
real quick.
I'm like, I
real
don't
quick,
understand.
man. I want you to finish that
No doubt.
elaborate point, bro. But when we talk about this fitness thing and we're using faith as a catalyst and a driver, it's really you versus you. But when you are able to extract motivation, I worked out with both of y'all. We've been in Big John at the Iron Addicts Gym.
Yep.
We did our thing. But when I'm able to tap in and how y'all do it, and it's different approaches, but you can feel and the energy seeping through, bro. I really want to say y'all some dogs with it.
Oh,
y'all really
man.
get out.
That's that
Real
friend
talk.
group. That's that friend
Real
group. You
talk.
know. Thank you, man. The fitness for me, for those who don't know, I'm coming from being about 315 pounds, 51% body fat. Always, I've always been me, but the me that was internal wasn't matching the me that was external. And I felt like I was talking a good game, but it wasn't showing in my discipline or my habits. And I wanted to align the two, and that's when I really got, I was like, bro, you trying to go into business, you trying to do this, you want people to like take you seriously. Look at you. This is the conversation I had with myself. And I had a growth mindset. So when I think about faith, I also another way of thinking of it is growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. I believe that I can achieve through work and time anything I set out for. And a fixed mindset says I'm too old. A fixed mindset says, oh, nah, that's not for me. It's too late, yada, yada, yada. But the faith that I can grow, the faith that with applied practices, things can change, had really catapulted to like, I'm better for my family. I'm more present with my family. I'm able to protect my family with not just from the physical perspective, but my mind and how strategic I am. Delaying gratification is something that came from fitness for me. My friends, I have the most amazing friends in the world, so they all tie into me because if you have faith and to have faith is to have courage, and if you have a vision coupled with that courage, man, you can make anything happen. So that's really what I would share on that perspective, man. And there was also a thing that you said that sparked a thought, and I know we without going too much on a tangent. Damn, you had here we go. So Marcus had said something, man, but I was so present, I completely let it slip. It may come back, but I'll let it rest there.
I definitely believe it will. And they leave me in charge of the button, so let's go ahead. Real talk, man. Giving some intentionality to that space in these conversations, because I be truly thankful and grateful to be involved in these type of conversations. I think back on like years before, like, man, what group do you want to be involved in? And I'm around such dynamic energy all the time, and I just love to take it in, man. As far as this right here, like, because you said be present, and being present, so I wanted to bring acknowledgement to that. We covered 4. We covered 4. We got three, potentially 4 more to go.
So as a recap, 4: faith, family, friends, and fitness. Those are the first 4. We're about to get out the next 3 right now. Mr. Cargill, please enlighten us.
Indubitably so.
yeah, we out here. Hey, you got a peace coach voice. So I noticed that I'm more peaceful. Yeah. I'm like, yes, please, Mr. Cargill. No, but definitely excited to hear the 3, brother.
And now you are tuned into
the
Good News Radio.
Make sure we cut that and use that for a drop.
Oh, man. So the other 3, 5, 6, and 7 is finance, fashion, and food. And so finance is, you can kind of look at it as a double entendre or a multiple entendre, if you will. Primarily, finances is exactly what you think. Money, 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 money. So how do we improve in that state? I believe personally, when it comes to our community specifically, and maybe there's other communities that can relate, but I think part of what is going to help make our revolution is having our finances in a better position. But without going too deep into that, I gotta shout out Brass Knuckle Finance.
Yeah.
BKF University.
Listen, that's my
Daddy
boy.
put me on.
Yeah.
What you call it? What's out now? edition 9.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I just got that struck one, right? So
Go
for
ahead.
that, when you talked about earlier being in a place, right,
Yeah.
where you needed to, you seek the desire to grow.
Yeah.
Finances, out of those 7, I would say that was the one that I was confused on because of those practices, right? And so when I went out and seeked information, I had to read those words and take all of it on the chin. Because everything that was like, don't do that, I was the epitome of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to BK Finance.
Real talk. That's dream person land. And so a year before I got the life coaching, I got financial coaching. It was with Mr. Dream over at Brass Knuckle. At first, I read a lot of his books, and I was like, man, I love this. And then I found out or discovered that he was offering it. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead. So I guess coaching has always been, I've always been open to coaching.
Right.
Oh, you can make me better in this way? Cool. How much? Okay, let's do it. So long as I can afford it, I'll do it, or I'll figure out what it is. So I've always been open to that. And I guess that comes from being on the other side, being a trainer.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to get in better shape and you want to do it in a more, time efficient way. Take on the knowledge of somebody that's been doing it for several years, that already knows where you want to get to and has already been there and done that and tried all the different things. So you could save that time. You can buy that 10 plus years of knowledge and get that 10 plus years of wisdom in 1 hour. That to me is worth it. So
not to cut your wisdom, bro.
Nah,
But you got me lit over here. Let me take my peace coach voice off.
Please.
Let me get you. Look, man.
Turn it up.
People be trying to sell stuff and they ain't buying nothing. You stingy with your money, but you want people to give you theirs. But you asking for discounts. You want to come back later, but you want people to give you their money hassle free.
Right.
It's an energy thing.
Yes, it is.
And I believe you're successful at what you do. And there's so many people who are in that arena. So to be successful says something.
Yes.
But it just makes sense that you are also seeking coaching, see the value in paying for that exchange. I just wanted to say that because so many folks want to start a business but they don't want to spend nothing with nobody. But now your energy that you put out is cheap energy. You know what I mean? You putting out cheap energy because you've been cheap out here.
Yep.
But I just wanted to share that.
Nah, that's real talk. And it sound like you've been looking at the Instagram stories. I don't know if you had a chance to look, but I posted something specifically about that. I think it was from Julian Gordon. So I'm just shouting out everybody.
That's the energy right there. I didn't see it, man.
Yeah. I'm just shouting out everybody I could think of. But Julian Gordon on Instagram, he posted something along the lines of, he had a few points, and one of them was currency. And getting out what you put in. And it's kind of like karma. We kind of already know that by principle. So that doesn't change because it's now money. Figure out how you can, a lot of ways that I know I'm going to do well is because I'm always thinking about how can I put some more money in this person's pocket? You know what I mean? When I got people that's running through Long Beach, I'm like, all right, you go talk to this man. When I'm thinking of people that want to join the organization, I'm like, I know where y'all need to go. So I'm always thinking, and that's why I'm shouting out so many people too.
Right.
Because I want people to go and seek that knowledge, and I want them to go to those people because they have helped me. And lastly, the last point to that is, if Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant got coaches and stayed hiring coaches, you ain't no Kobe. I respect you as a person.
Yeah.
But if you aren't hitting that type of level in your belief in your life, if you're not hitting those levels of greatness in your own personal life, in your belief, you got some work to do. You think you about to do it by yourself, and all the great people that do anything, the greatest singers got singing coaches, the greatest ball players got basketball coaches, and you mean to all the Olympic athletes got Olympic coaches? You mean to tell me you too good for a coach? Now you got me all out of my peaceful tone.
No, hey man, we got me frazzled, man. We live for the dead.
So
that's a great point, and it also goes to the insecurities that one might have, specifically men, right? So we have the Giants Den, and we're still a growing organization, right? We're a baby in terms of an organization. We started in 2019, launched our membership in 2020. The pandemic, we launched it August 2020. So the pandemic, we still are coming out of that, right? But we're dealing with a very specific group. We're dealing with cisgender, masculine, or men who are more on the masculine side, cisgender, heterosexual men. oh, I don't want no coach. Who are you to coach me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Oh, it's this sense of I must be lacking if I seek a coach, or I'm not good enough if I attach myself to a coach. And I think that stigma keeps people from actually growing.
Yeah.
You know, or so specifically with men, I see a lot of women taking advantage of personal trainers. I see a lot of women taking advantage of the coaching opportunities that are offered. And I see men who could definitely use it being apprehensive because of how we might perceive, you know, what this might look like if I come to you.
Right.
Yeah. Have you what are your thoughts on that? I don't know if you've experienced that through like coaching men or maybe not coaching as many men. I don't know what that makeup looks like for you.
I would say my demographic, I'm fortunate that I think it's a little bit more balanced than what I believe a lot of times is the case. And from a personal training standpoint,
Right.
I think majority of personal trainers we go through that experience of the majority of the clients will be ladies. However, in this case, it's more, I'd say about 60-40. Okay. So it's almost about
that's
even.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm fortunate in that regard. We doing good on time.
Yeah.
Make sure before I keep on yapping, because I can.
Yeah, no, I was just giving a signal. We got a minute and a half. If you wanted to definitely give the last of those.
Oh, for sure. So the last two.
Yes,
so we
sir.
got the finances, and to make the point about the finances, maximize your income, minimize your expenses, eliminate your debt, and that again comes from Brass Knuckle Finance. So that's all their game right there. The other piece is the fashion, and that's the image. That's basically the classic line, don't judge a book by its cover. However, if the contents of the book match the cover of the book, it might help people want to read that book. So just keep in mind how you can match the fashion to your image and how you can get that to leverage whatever the contents might be. If you tell me you a barber and your hairline is not crispy, I might be a little bit slower to get that cut from you. And finally, that food is, focus on more plants, focus on nature, basically.
Right.
More plants, more water, more plants, fruits, and vegetables. The eighth one was fighting, and that's a bonus. All right. So it's 7 F's, but I put the F, the 8 F. That's fighting, martial arts, being able to protect yourself and being able to protect your family. So I usually use that one more for the guys. And that's why I put the asterisk by that one as number 8 as a bonus.
We appreciate that 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Cargill live from the den. This has been an amazing conversation.
Yes.
Y'all want to wrap up real quick before we head off?
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all follow Marcus, man, on Instagram.
Cargill, the Peace Coach. CARGILL, the Peace Coach on Instagram. CargillFitness.com. Anybody that would like any personal training or peace coaching specifically, where you get the all-encompassing of what we just talked about, come on through. I'm happy to see you. You're welcome to come through for Sweat Saturday. That's every Saturday. My brother Will and I, we're at Manhattan Beach pretty much every Saturday.
Great workout.
Free community workouts. You're welcome to come through anytime. Every 4th Saturday, I have Holistic Health Experience with my brother Henry and I, learning about the mind, body, soul, and spirit, and what all of those entail. Usually comes with a raw vegan dish as well. So come on through for that. And every 3 months, I do retreats, a Lafayette Ocean retreat with my sister TJ and sister Cleo, brother Jason. So you all are more than welcome. You're welcome to tap in if you like more details on any of those. It has been a pleasure. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you all for allowing me an opportunity to share.
Oh, man, it was our pleasure.
Absolutely,
man.
our pleasure.
Let's give a salute, man, to Marcus for coming through, dropping some gems, not only for us, but for our listeners. We appreciate you, bro, making time and the investment that it took to even learn this stuff and come to a place in your life where you're able to offer this type of value. So let's give a huge salute to Marcus Cargill, the Peace Coach. 1, 2, 3.
Salute.
All right, y'all out there in TV land. Everybody out there in TV land.
Done with that one.
Appreciate that.
Greet you properly, bro. Let me shut all this down real quick.